Genie grind and watch him get rich, huh? Remember when I said I hit a lick, huh? I don't really wanna fuck the bitch, what? Willie went and made another hit, okay, like Prada on my motherfucking kid, huh? Louis on my motherfucking hip, huh? Curry how I dunk, no switch, hey, fucker gonna fuck that bitch, hey, if you ain't gon' fuck with me, you a dumb fuck, put up a hit but feel like one punch, look at my bank and I'm getting dumb rich, and I'm gonna count it up till 100,
Hello world, I'm Mod of Studia, and today we are here with a introspective piece, but that is to say simply, what if Deku was from Hellsing? And I mean Ultimate. Deku was sitting down, locked on all ankles, bound by chains. His preferred method, at least. His understanding of where he was, all clouded. The chains that bound him rotted into his skin. His long, sleek black hair dripped down onto the ground. How long is that leprechaun waiting for me to die? He can't even see around him. His shoes rotted through. He was tall and lanky, physically built for no reason. Seemed like he didn't even earn it. Is this my punishment? To be down here forever? He starts to hear rumbling in the darkness. A light shines above him. A head pokes through, asking for help. Before Deku grabs onto it, he remembers where he had came from. What he came from. All the way back then, when he was just a boy. Just in a normal village. One undominated by the outside world. Peaceful life. Until the vampires. He didn't ever kill anyone. Never in his life. He swore to it. I guess promises are meant to be broken. He continues. As he opens up the door, sliding it off to his left, he finds a green-haired girl, a scientist, with glasses round her and stained with the blood of something that he could smell from there. She was close, almost intimate with him, and how she had embraced him. It seemed like she hadn't had a comfort in a while. He slightly pushes her off to the left, saying, "What do you need?" "Madam, I think." There's people. People. Very specific there. I can't even do anything right now. Please, I need your help. As she falls down to her knees, her hands collapsing onto the floor. These nomus that they found, they're going on a rampage. They're killing everyone. Killing? Yes. I need your help. You know, begging isn't very proper for a woman of your stature. I'd feel bad if I didn't accept. But, just so you know, you owe me a lot. Now, where's your weaponry? He now realizes his surroundings. A deep cave. Leading to that cave was a metal barge in a ship down below a harbor. This harbor was currently on fire. And as you can see the flakes falling, ashes and flakes falling into the cave. He starts to hear footsteps down the hallway. "Quick, woman. I need weaponry," she says. I didn't bring anything. God bless, as he turns around and holds his body in front of hers, knowing that some sort of danger is coming. After all, he had heard the fire of something loud, something combustible. It had shattered his hearing. After all, he had not heard anything in almost so long. He was so happy to see another person, he even was happy to see her. Like, he was literally happy, which had not happened to him for a while. What he had been through was quite historical pain. He instantly feels a few shots of something materialistic, something metal, and it courses through his body and almost makes it out the other side. However, he stops it manually using his body's sort of quirk, holding the bullets inside of him as they slowly come out. However, he's shot even more, which then he falls down onto the ground, holding his breath, making sure that his blood doesn't flow. As if his blood flows, he will become, he'll bleed out. He can control his blood slightly while holding his breath. Ah, I see, Doctor. As a red satchel sort of peers over the side of it, with 3 gunmen right behind him, all fully dressed in black armor and swastika symbols on their shoulders. Ah, you thought you could get away from us. How cute. That's unfortunate. Your friend had to die. Well, Wiedersehen, as he, throws fire onto the ground, starting to burn it with oil, also collected by the different gunmen, as he starts to walk his way out. Grinning, and then, sort of being like, confirm their bodies afterwards. We shall see if this summoned, or mercenary of hers, actually did help. As they go out into the city, as Deku and her were, their bodies were never found by the gunmen, as the German gets quite mad, slamming onto the table, saying, "God damn vampires!" As he looks up, seeing the great tome that he had collected from the tomb before that, listed on the title of it. Vampires from the Deep, the Uprise, and the Fall. So, basically what had happened was, we go back in time. The girl starts freaking out, searching through her, her potion satchel, going through all of the different, revival things as she starts pouring all these different tonics down his throat until he just goes... he leans up as he almost touches the fire with his left hand, trying to pick himself up. As they crawl back into the corner, Deku says, "He thinks we'll die that easy." I don't have any water. All the tonics are flammable." "Oh, don't worry, princess. I mean, doctor." "What?" Nothing. I'll take care of this." As he holds out his hand, she says, What are you? "Shut up, please. I need to concentrate." Blood starts to seep from his hands as the mist of crimson ashes start to, just start to go away a little bit as the ground gets moldy and rotted. The ground, it seems like it's, as all the fire starts to die from it, basically. What he's doing is he starts to explain it while he's holding his eyes closed. "I can control my blood. You see, I can use it to change my environment by soaking up, fire with it, or making it go into the ground, making it soggy. Or I can use it for other weaponized means that I'm not used to doing just yet. Quick. We must go before the fire returns. Or are you just going to stand there with your mouth agape?" She says, Right, yes, of course. let me get all my stuff. As she, you know, like clutters all of her stuff back into the satchel. Rocks up with him, walks up next to him as he starts to leave the cave. He exits out into the city, making sure that the German dude isn't around. As he stretches out his arms, as you know, his drapes that are barely holding onto his skin at this point. You know, he stretches out as he can finally, you know, feel his body and be him. You know, being the body that was given to him, and it just feels amazing. Dang, I feel so good right now. And she's just like, the city's on fire, though. Ah, pish posh. You can always just repopulate it. She says, but the nomus. Nomu shmomu, what are they gonna... And then just a nomu comes up right behind him, flying above him, as he can feel the wingspan behind him. He turns around very fast, as he's immediately attacked by its feet that kicks him down onto the ground. However, he stops himself as he says, God dang, how many dangers are there? He brings himself back up, sort of running behind the girl as he's like, what are you doing? Come on, let's run. She's like, oh, right. She picks herself back up and starts running along with him. He grabs onto her hand, pulling her up as he says, you're so slow. Anyways, that thing should be gone, and then it just shows up right in front of them. As they're running over this hill that's currently on fire, they're quite cornered. Deku then says, just distract it for 5 seconds. I've got an idea. The cauterized flames start to dim very fast as he closes his eyes and is like, I'm releasing my full power. Just hide somewhere. As the Nomu starts chasing her down, she searches through her satchel one more time, saying, I have to find it. I have to find it. Come on, come on. And then she reaches down, finding a red, sort of sparkly one that has a mix of green in it too. Finally, as she brings it out to her face, and then the Nomu kicks her straight down onto the ground as she her face just crashes straight into the glass, spraying that tonic onto her face. This, well, pretty much fucks up her face. She was a very pretty young woman. I wouldn't say like the prettiest, but she was cute to say the least. Like a 8 out of 10. You know what I mean? And this just, yeah, like half of her face starts to get acidized. After all, this is a direct hit to her face. She meant to throw this onto the Nomu. And then the Nomu kind of crashes down right in front of her as she's screaming for help. And she backs up as her back hits one of the flames, which sets her clothes on fire. However, in her rage, she's just like, this day is the fucking worst, as she takes off her shirt and throws it onto the Nomu. The Nomu, not really sensing fear or really sensing danger in any way, it kind of just grabs onto the shirt and sets itself on fire. As it starts freaking out, flying all around, it gets caught up into the fire and flames and dies along with them. As Deku finally releases all of the blood out of his body, as his body withers even more, he falls unconscious by using so much blood to put out the flames on the mountain, saving some of the villagers and a lot of the heroes that were evacuating the people of the city. Let's say that this is Hoshu City or some shit. I don't really know many of the cities in My Hero. All I know is Hosu. I think that was one of them. I know that was attacked by Nomus anyways. But basically, yeah, no, this is pretty bad. And Deku is evacuated to the hospital. As Deku is just basically left with 1% blood. How is he alive right now? Good question. Elixirs, that is how. Elixirs of immortality, ones that stop you from dying for a good 5 seconds. She just starts feeding those things straight into his mouth, like chugging them. As she rushes him to the hospital, assisted by some of the heroes, they get there quite fast. They have some transfusions done, and he wakes up lickety-split. He doesn't care much about the hospital, though, as she had fallen asleep, as she had, bandages wrapped up on her face. She was also one of the victims of this. He wakes up as she's sitting there, like kind of sad, worried for him. He's like, oh, thank you so much for sitting here with me. As she wakes up slightly, although he hushes her and keeps her asleep. She turns her face to go back to sleep, as then he sees the other side that was cauterized by the freaking acid. And he's like, oh, you poor thing. Oh, you remind me of myself. I tried so hard to get to the top, and it only shot me down to nothingness. How can I help this poor woman? He kind of like thinks really hard about his past and all this stuff, about his power and the ancient order of vampires that he came from. He was not exactly the strongest, but he was the hardest worker, and also born lucky with a pretty good quirk. The quirk to be able to deform his body, able to transform himself. Basically, he was able to like take off arm, put it back on without any problem. Really weird quirk, and was kind of criticized by many people as it was pretty freaky. They say he belonged in the circus. He would have agreed. That was a good job actually back then. But in the circus, he was bit by a bystander, a girl that fell in love with him. He didn't quite love her himself. It was a toxic relationship, one that he never loved in the first place. Although, she did give him a good deal. He returns back to the, sitting down. Her head in his hands. The doctor sitting next to him, asleep. It was around 3 p.m. as the dim moonlight hits the windshield, directing it in two directions. The moonlight in two directions. One to the dark and one to him. One to her face. I don't know if I can do this, but I have to try. I have to. He kind of like checks his blood level, putting his hand onto his left arm, feeling his pulse and like nodding a little bit, saying, "That should be enough." He holds his hands to her face, as she's kind of like out right now. As he starts to close his eyes, fixing slowly, reattaining that face that she had before. Like one piece after another. And in the morning, once he finally fell asleep while customizing her face, she wakes up. And she's amazed. I mean, she's so thankful to him if he was the one that did that. Was he the one that did that? He says, yeah, it was. She thanks him profusely, as all the science medical staff are just amazed by this power. Like, is this his quirk? And he's like, I mean, it was only made for me, but I guess I can do it for other people too. They're like, you can regenerate faces? He's like, I can regenerate things on people, like people, people's ability themselves. Like, I can take I can give them what I think is perfect. Like, I can give somebody abs by sacrificing some of my blood, sacrificing some of my own. After all, I was able to customize my whole body myself. That's why I'm in perfect shape. A lot of them taking notes and sort of like, questioning him. However, they're like, okay, you guys are good. You guys can leave. As they, start to leave the hospital, he walks among the populace again, trying to relearn a lot of society's norms. I mean, he's just ecstatic about being able to leave. But now is back to reality. And of course, he needs to get a job first. She recommends, why don't you be a hero? A hero? I don't think you know what I was in my past life. Well, I guess that's this life. She says, what are you talking about? You speak in these weird haikus and stuff. I never understand you. And he says, I never understand you either. But I do. So shall you. She's quite disgruntled at that. However, he's like, a hero, eh? How do I become one of those? You go to the college. Well, the high school, really. And they basically teach you how to become a hero. You know, I'm like 1,000 years old, right? She's like, yeah, it said it on the tomes. Oh, I got an idea. What is it? How about you impress one of them? Impress them? Yeah, like you save one of them. And they'll be like, oh, thank you, Mr. Whoever you are. Wait, what is your name? My name? Deku. Huh. Not very befitting of a vampire, eh? No. Well, they did call me Alucard back in the day. But today I will be known as Deku. For your convenience. I guess that works. I'll call you Allie. Please, do not call me Allie. Alright, Allie. You gotta become a hero. I promise you I'll find a way for you to become a hero. Alright, I'll look forward to it. Whatever your name is. Oh, that's right, you never learned mine. Jessica. It's Jessica. Just Jessica. Why is it? Don't ask. Alright, that's fine too. You know, he like has a sweat coming down his face as she's like, so tell me something about yourself. This isn't talk time. It is action time. And she's like, all right, if you say so, Mr. Hero. He's like, you know, I was a villain back in the day. As they start walking out of the place, as she eats her good ass mac from Mickey D's, as you know, they start making their way down the hallway as they start to make their way over to the Hero Academy. Sort of looking up and down, trying to find out a way to make their way into it. She's like, you know what? I do got a de-aging potion. It'll hurt a lot, but it does work. They say it feels like you die every year that you go back. I know how dying feels like. I was able to reconstruct my whole body to survive something like that. To survive death. Hundreds and hundreds of times. I can do this. She's like, no. You're not ready. This thing has so much kickback. Trust me. You don't want this. I think I'll actually stop on that anchor. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode.